It sounds like, according to Kirk Herbstreit on College Game Day, there is a very good chance that Ryan Day does not call plays next season for the Ohio State Buckeye offense. There's a couple of facets to this, but I think if you're an Ohio State fan, at the end of this whole operation, when all the dust settles, you will feel more encouraged by this move from your head coach. And for those of you that maybe feel a little bit weird about this, your thought process is, well, why are we changing a good thing, man? Offense scoring a lot of points. Ryan Day is one of the best play callers in our minds in college football. Why would you not continue to do what you've made a living doing, what you're good at? Well, here's the reality for Ohio State. Has scoring points ever really been a problem? Just based on personnel alone, with Brian Hartline recruiting wide receivers and other pass catchers at the tight end position, just consistently better than anybody else in the country, and the quarterback position for Ohio State routinely being an absolute baller. Is scoring points ever really the issue? Is scoring points really ever the reason why you end up losing some of these games, and particularly the game? More on that in a second. The answer is no. So the way that I'm looking at this thing, 11 times out of 12, if we want to even be generous and say 10 times out of 12, personnel and scoring points aren't the issue for you right now. And I don't mean to say the offensive output doesn't matter. It absolutely does. But if I'm the head coach and my responsibility is to help this football team win games, and there is an obvious issue within the football team, there's an obvious spot that needs to be adjusted based on the last two games against Michigan, my attention should be more focused on that area. Okay? So I don't expect the offense to take any step back. I promise you it won't. They're still going to score well over 40 points a game. They're still going to drag a lot of these other Big Ten opponents that aren't named Michigan, that aren't named Penn State. And even then, you wonder what that game's going to look like leading up to Michigan. So you feel good about your chances. Ryan Day deciding, or potentially deciding, he's not going to call plays next year does not sound like a negative thing by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I actually think it's a good thing. We'll tell you that in just a second. But if you haven't yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, man, we got you year round. National championship about to go down. We're going to be there. A lot of these other shows, once that clock hits 000 in SoFi Stadium, say deuces. All right, we'll see y'all after. Thank you so much. Not us. Okay, not us. College football is a 12-month-a-year sport. We cover it accordingly. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Paquel. We can have more interaction, have a back and forth there that we're also able to have on our live shows Tuesday and Thursday, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Lock in with us. We have a real good time there. So here's kind of going back to my point originally about Ryan Day, not potentially going to call plays next year. The problems for Ohio State do not lie on the offensive side of the football. The way that I look at it, I think they're team-wide. Now, when I say team-wide, I'm not talking about a bad culture. I think the culture at Ohio State is actually really strong. People talk about Ohio State needing to be a tougher team. Maybe that's true, but I would even argue, if you look at the statistics, they took a big jump in year one under Jim Knowles. Now, you didn't get the results you wanted. You didn't achieve the standard, and I think some of that is why we're seeing Ryan Day decide to take on more of a CEO role. Because here's the fact of the matter, man. When you are game planning during the week to call plays in a college football game, that requires a lot of your time. And as the head coach, that takes a lot of time to do that you would otherwise allocate to other things around this organization. So what this tells me is Ryan Day believes there is an area of growth for this program as an organization. There's an opportunity for growth organizationally for Ohio State. And when I say organization, I've said on other videos before, but again, that's not culture. That's just a way to, in my mind, work smarter. Again, if I'm the head coach, my responsibility is to get the entire team, not just the offense, the entire team in the best position to win. And he has seen now 2 straight years, losing to Michigan, unacceptable at Ohio State. Losing to Michigan in the same fashion, where he's saying, okay, there is a very obvious problem here that I, as the head coach, am responsible for and need to pay greater attention to. So I credit Ryan Day, because you know how easy it would be for a guy like Ryan Day to convince himself that it's all good, that he just needs to hire staff better, that he just needs to make some tweaks to the staff, then he's in a good shape. Hey, I do what I do, man. I call plays. We score points. I don't know what my other coach is doing. I gotta help him out. He said, you know what? We have an area that we need to grow in, so I'm going to put this on pause here. I'm going to pass this off to somebody else. My gut would say Brian Hartline, but we'll see. And then I'm going to go and help where we need help. And I think the changes that you'll see will be very much so behind closed doors. When I say organizational, I think it'll be the way that they conduct winter workouts. I think it'll be a greater attention to how they conduct practice during the week. I think it'll be just a way of doing things. Let me tell you this, having been in a college football program before, having gone through that week-to-week grind, the way you do things in the offseason and during the season, that operation, that makes all the difference on game day. I mean, I promise you, that in itself is good for 2 to 3 wins, the way that you do things in the offseason. Calling plays is extremely important. Don't get it twisted. But the way that you do things falls on the head coach. And for Ryan Day to now say he wants to lean more into that, I think is a really positive thing for Ohio State Buckeye fans and for the program as a whole. So all the conversation from Jim Harbaugh's side saying, you know what, we got some people here born on third base thinking they hit a triple. It's college football. You and I love that part of it. The rivalry, the shade, we're all here for it. That's cool. But you're not going to be able to say that anymore about Ryan Day because he is now saying, all right, hear that, got it, noted. I'm going to take an all-encompassing look at my program, even more so than I was before, and be responsible for more areas of this. He's now freed up to have more say on what they do defensively. He's now freed up to be more involved in the scheduling of things, freed up to be more involved in the nitty-gritty of special teams. You see what I'm saying here? Ryan Day is now able to take both hands out of the offensive side of things and put his hands different places throughout this program, which I think is going to be a positive thing. But the bottom line is you're going to see his fingerprints on this program as a whole a lot more than I think we've seen in the past. Because before it was he had the sticks on offense and he's, managing the program. Now it's all-encompassing. Ryan Day, CEO of Buckeye football. Nice to meet you. That's a little bit more of a true title now for him, in my opinion. This also sends the message he's not messing around. Buckeye fans have been rightfully upset that they have missed the standard in Columbus 2 years in a row. No Big Ten title, didn't beat Michigan twice, and missed the college football playoff once, ended up not playing for national title this year, even though they played a really good game against Georgia. We have thoughts and feelings on that. It shows a sense of urgency. Because you and I both know insanity is continuing to do the same thing and expecting a different result. Good for Ryan Day. If this ends up being the case, good for him saying, I need to make adjustments, I need to pivot, I need to change from where I'm sitting here to get a different result. I think it shows awareness, I think it shows humility, and I think it shows like I said, a sense of urgency to understand that this has to happen sooner. It's not going to be hey, in 3 years, maybe we get back to winning national titles. No. It's a right now thing. And he understands that, and he's making these changes now, and I'm very excited to see what this Buckeye football program looks like next year. Offense will not take a step back. I promise you that. They will be more than fine. I'm excited to see how the organization is because there's areas for opportunity for growth there. And Ryan Day taking a step back from play calling and leaning more into the CEO head coaching role, I think that's enormous. Just the way that college football is now. I think head coaches have to be more of that CEO. So I'm excited to watch it. We'll keep you locked in here. I promise you we will talk about Ohio State a lot in the coming days, coming weeks, throughout the spring, throughout the fall. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see y'all here for it. The summer as well. We'll be locked in, obviously. But like I said, we don't take breaks. We're live, 1 Central, 2 Eastern, baby. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Come lock in with us. We have a real good time. Follow me on social media, at JD Piquel, Twitter and Instagram. You can find me there. I tweet stuff out to make sure you know when we go live. I'm on Instagram, dishing out different takes and interaction we can have there. So we have a good time. Make sure you're locked in. As always, make sure you're subscribed. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.